Okay.
Chris, tell you I'm diabetic now, Kate?
No, I didn't.
Go Black! All the Lions. And your popcorn. Yeah. Good evening.
Well, hello.
Now, is Kate going to be able to feed our city council meeting tonight?
She should be able to. I think so.
Okay.
If she's willing to do that.
Hey, we can just discuss it, whatever.
We can discuss it. We don't have to feed it. I think some people watched it probably. We can talk about it. Not much. Well,
hit that like button down here, folks.
Yeah, do that thing. Hit the like button.
Hit that like button.
Audie's moved into the realm of contributing correspondence, so he's just on here like Brandon now.
Just whenever they want to invite me, I guess.
Yeah, well, yeah, right.
Go back and look at some of my first interviews, and they sucked.
That's hilarious.
They were bad, folks. We know that.
I'm trying to get my whole head in the camera.
Zoom it back.
I can't. I'm as far zoomed back as possible, but there we go. All right. Well, ladies and gentlemen,
cut it off right about here.
Yeah, right. Like right here. Yeah.
Yeah.
Look much better. Be like this the whole show. Okay. Yeah. Well, I'm ready to talk.
You need to shave that shit off your face, son.
Oh, hold on 1 second. Stay right there. Hold on. Talk, Audie.
He's got to go to the bathroom, I think. So we had a council meeting tonight. We had a lot of stuff going on today. I've been pretty busy myself all day. Classes and things of that nature and all kinds of stuff. That ain't possible. So I don't know where Chris really wants to start tonight, but we'll give him a few minutes to get back here. We can talk about a few things. Just got to remember, I cannot see nothing down here on the bottom until Chris comes over and he's been saying it for 3 months and set my computer up the way I need to be able to see people's responses and stuff. So quite a few people was at the council meeting tonight. Mr. Brandon Garrett gave another award out tonight. I think he done one in November, maybe December, and they got him doing it again. So, and the votes, the vote's 6-3. Got to remember the 6-3. Remember, it used to be 5-4, but now it's 6-3. So that'll play a big pivotal role tonight in tonight's.
No, I wasn't lying. I didn't have to use the bathroom. I had to go. This is hilarious. Well, so let's explain kind of what happened. Where were you? Did I interrupt you? What were you saying?
I was just babbling on.
So here's the deal. Obviously, I'm not at my house. We're not in the studio. And I can... where are you at? Where does it look like I'm at?
This segment brought to you by Winston. Tobacco.
I think we just got kicked off.
And sorry.
No, I'm kidding you.
Tobacco
anyways. And Tylenol. Okay, no, so here's the deal, folks.
She is not at my house.
And Indianapolis Colts Bitwater.
No, I know, because Kate's normally behind windows. So, ladies and gentlemen, I am at the grandparents'. I'm at the grandparents' house, and so basically what happened today, let's explain to you guys what happened. So last night at the end of the show, I told everybody that my grandmother was having a little procedure today. And earlier in the day, about 5 o'clock this morning, I made a post that said, oh, my grandmother's having a little procedure. It's not going to be bad. And she's literally been dreading this thing for like 2 months. And because she's got a really bad, in 1960, she was in a wreck. An off-duty Muncie fireman was drinking and crashed into her she was in the red car, their 1957 Pontiac that they've got.
Yep.
Well, she was driving a 1957 Pontiac just like that, other than it was black, and an off-duty Muncie fireman hit them, and she was pregnant with my dad, and it messed up her knee. And so she's had issues with her knee, and she's had a couple things go on. So some friends of theirs convinced them to go, and my grandpa had the shoulder surgery this time last year. And with my grandfather's persistence and a couple of their friends, and Audie having his knee thing going on, they convinced her to go in and get her knees worked on. And she's been doing everything the doctor said. She's like the beacon of health. Both of my grandparents are in really good health for their age.
And how old are they, Chris?
Early 80s. And so, but they're in really good, health. Both drive. They've got acres of yard that they both mow and do all of that stuff. So they're pretty active. So my grandmother,
they still put up Christmas lights and all that.
So yeah, still do all of that thing. It's the whole 9 yards. So. She went into the surgery today, and we kept telling her it's going to be a minor surgery. It's going to be a minor surgery. And she kept saying, well, it's minor because it's not your leg. Yeah, and I was like, okay, that's fair. But we kept telling her that it was how minor this was going to be. So, and I wasn't just feeding her a line. I legitimately thought that. So they told us that, what?
I thought it was going to be, routine.
Right.
Bam, bam, thank you, ma'am. She'll be up walking tomorrow, the next day.
Absolutely. Then that's what we were telling her, because that's how a knee replacement is. And so we got there. We got there at 6 o'clock this morning, the time we were supposed to be there. They were going to take him in at 8:15. They actually took her at 7:30. So we thought, holy crap, they're early. We're going to be out of here by 9 o'clock. This is going to be grand, because I had a lot to do today, but I knew I would be helping them out, and I was going to stay throughout the remainder of helping them. So I was like, okay, this will be awesome. So 9 o'clock comes, and we can see on there that she's still in surgery, still on surgery, still in surgery. 10 o'clock comes, she's still in there, and we're like, what in the world is going on? 10:30, she's still in surgery. The little nurse comes out of the room and says, Bilbrey family, could you come back here? The doctor would like to speak with you privately in a consultation room. Now, let me be clear. That is never a good thing. Like my grandfather said, oh, they must have her out. She must be ready to, she must be ready to go up. I didn't say to him, I don't think that's the case. Now he's hearing me say that now because he's just in the other room, but I was like freaking out.
You didn't want to scare him.
Yeah. And so my heart's beating a little bit, and I see the doctor come around and he's smiling at me. So instantly I'm like, okay, she's not she didn't cut it, eat the big one. She didn't buy the farm. So, or he wouldn't be smiling. He would have had on a little bit, more solemn face. So he comes in and he's like, listen, the surgery went well. Everything's supposed to be happening. But he's like, we were holding her left leg, putting the cement in there. And just above the knee, her femur broke, like just crushed, just like broke. And we were like, what? So now instead of like this major, like, major minor knee deal, now she's got a broken femur. He says, and of course that wasn't supposed to happen.
Right.
Yeah, okay, right. And he's like, so, we've got two options. We can either stitch her up and bring her back and have them deal with this and put a rod in there and strengthen that up, and she'll be right as rain, or we can keep her under and do it that way. He said the catch is we don't have the rod here that we need. And I was like, this is a hospital, where's the rod at?
We can't go.
And he's like, well, we got to go down to Chrysler and get it. Yeah. No. So he said it's in Indianapolis. He said, now we went ahead and had this part being driven here, and you guys can make the decision either way, but it's already halfway on its way here. And so we talked, and we're like, okay, yeah, both of us decided, without even talking, that it would be best to just go ahead and do it today. So they send us out to the room, out to the waiting room, and to my thinking was they were going to keep her under. That's what he said he was going to do. Well, they ended up not doing that. They brought her out, they sewed her up, and instead of she's got two brand new knees, but a broken left femur. So we then go back and see her, and she is not doing good. She was in horrible, horrible, horrible pain. She was nauseous. It was a sight. And so that was kind of weirding me out a little bit. They got her back in there, and some 4.5, 5 hours later, they got the rod that connected from the knee. Imagine this, the rod connecting from the kneecap to the hip in the femur, all the way up in the femur.
They drilled it out, going
all the way out.
So they cut the bad part off that was broke.
Yeah.
Femur.
And then stuck that all the way up in there. And I was like thinking, oh man, because she was in lots of pain when we saw her the first time. But when we went back in there and saw her later in the evening, she was in hardly no pain. I literally just talked to her on the phone about 20 minutes before I went live. I called her when I was doing the driving back, and she sounded more at herself and was coming off they had a spinal block in, and that was starting to come off. She was having a little bit of pain, but the nurse was in taking care of that. So she's doing good, and my grandpa's doing good, and we're all doing good. It's just been a long day.
Did you tell her that they stuck a big old rod in her?
Yeah. Well, here's the thing. She was so out of it with the medicine that like we could not get her to understand it. Like several times, it'll be tomorrow before she really, I think, gets the picture of what's going on. So, but that it is what it is. You got to do what you got to do to get. It's going to prolong the recovery, and so that's what the deal is. Because of that,
Joe, you had an addictomy?
Yeah, right. Because of that, I was not at the Muncie City Council meeting today. I did not watch the Delaware County Commissioners meeting. I missed the special Muncie City Council or Muncie City Redevelopment Commission meeting. There's all kinds of meetings today that I missed. In all of that mix, there is also the closed door Delaware County Commissioners and Delaware County Council meeting. So I can't read it off the top of my mind, but last night when I put these episodes together, knowing this would happen, we titled this episode something like, What's the Political Gossip Today? And I basically just talked and said, there it is, episode 135. What's the political gossip today? And I basically just said, essentially, with the Muncie City Council meeting today, with the Delaware County Commissioners meeting today, with the Muncie City redevelopment special meeting today, with the closed door meeting between the commissioners and the council, with whatever the heck Sproles could be doing it in any given day, that basically being 3.5 days out from the end of filing, there's a lot of politics going on. And what are the rumors? Of course, we're coming off of last night's big show where I talked about King and all of that. I will tell you, I told everybody that I would get the record requests sent out today. I did not do that. I have them typed up, but I did not have a chance to send them. I will have them sent first thing tomorrow morning, and I will get them out to the appropriate things. So we're still there. It not going to hurt anything. Basically, tonight we're going to be talking about the Muncie City Council meeting, and I do want to go over what I've heard from the closed door meeting. So,
I want to make a little public service announcement. Morrison,
yes, sir.
Morrison and 332 McGalliard. Stay away from that area. They've got a manhunt going on right now. They had a clerk at the village pantry out there shot, hurt pretty bad. It's going on
Really?
right now. Yeah, it's going on right now. So stay away from that area. They got the dogs out and everything. So if you're out in that area, just clear the hell away from that area, folks.
Where?
McGalliard and Morrison and McGalliard.
McGalliard and Morrison.
The
Clerk
village
from
pantry.
where?
The village pantry.
Was actually shot?
Yeah, they're saying they were saying hurry the ambulance up, get the ambulance there immediately. So it must be pretty bad. That's what
the police. Okay, when I was driving out, the police were heading up that way. So
no, this was just in the last 20 minutes.
Yeah,
25 minutes.
right.
Or
Yep.
told me when I came in the house.
Yep.
So stay away from that area, folks.
Well, stay away from that's essentially the northwest side of Muncie.
Walmart North over in that area.
Yeah.
Stay the hell away from there for now. So
Yeah.
but
Well,
anyway,
good.
Grandma will be all right. She'll be
Oh, yeah. All's
she'll
well.
be in physical therapy here in a couple weeks, and by the middle of summer she'll be good as new, and she'll be using
Oh, yeah.
to mow the
Yeah,
lawn.
it'll be good ready to rock and roll. So you went to the meeting tonight, and the first thing I could see was, because I watched most of the meeting from our feed, but the first thing that I noticed was there was a lot of people there.
A lot of people there. It was packed.
And I didn't initially understand why, but then it dawned on me that there were a couple of major community interest issues going on, obviously, in the city. So that makes sense. So my question to you is, first impressions, did the council seem to function better this time than they did last time?
Yeah, they need to Jerry needs to run the meeting, but he also needs to let the reading secretary do her job.
Yeah.
I think she should have read all that stuff out on nominations and stuff like that. Jerry, she should have been able to read what was being nominated and stuff like that. Jerry's got a very soft voice.
Yeah.
And the microphone ain't close enough to his mouth, or either that or they ain't got the microphone hot enough. So he's going to have to either turn that microphone up or get closer to the microphone or speak up. But before I ever got into the meeting, I had a person come up to me and says, well, you need, let's see. No, this was after the meeting. Walked up to me and says, you're going to have to take a month or two off. That way this council can set in and get comfortable. I said, not going to happen. Not going to happen.
That's hilarious.
I'm here for the duration.
Yeah, right. Well, I want to speak to what Joey said here, because I caught that when Joey said they didn't technically adjourn the meeting correctly. I'll put it to you this way. They didn't adjourn the meeting the way that we are all used to. I think per Indiana public access laws, they can technically do what they've done. I don't like it that way. They need to take a roll call vote and just do, or they don't need to do they can do a voice vote. They don't have to do a roll call.
It just got so loud in there that you couldn't hear it, but they did do it.
Okay.
Somebody
Okay.
made a motion to, I think it was Brandon Garrett made a motion to adjourn the meeting, and I think somebody else seconded it, and then
they also, okay, because it made it look like they did not.
right, but they did. They did.
Okay.
But it was really
Well,
loud
that's
in
good.
there at that point because they had went against the rules and regulations already. So allowing
Yeah.
people to speak after the fact, and I'm not saying that they shouldn't have. They should have, but at some point there's rules that they have to follow, and then the rules that they can follow that they can extend, like the time limit. They got a time limit, and they're on their freaking stopwatches, like bam, up, ding, 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 shut them up, and that's not right.
I don't understand that's the very first thing. Even in the meeting driving, I could hear she was like, I got out my stopwatch, and I'm like,
yep.
If your concern is
About
that
15 minutes,
the citizens are going to get up and speak, your bosses, and I want to say this to Sarah and Nora, and your concern is, oh, we need to get this out to stop it down to the second. I'm sorry, but you're doing the wrong thing there.
I told them at the end of the meeting, I was the last one to speak before they let other people up after me. I said, shame on every one of you. Shame on every one of you. You turned away 5 or 6 people that was in the middle of a conversation tonight, and you turned them away. I said, they are, and it's on the video.
Talk about that. So I guess we'll address this backwards. So I watched a good chunk of the meeting, but what I did not get a chance to watch was a majority of the public concerns. I watched the first couple people and the last 2 people. Besides you, can you tell me why? How are they shutting people down? I didn't get a chance to see it.
So in the middle of the guy's speech about the roundabouts, he got up there and was the first one speaking. And they said, "Oh, your time's up. Your 3 minutes is up." Da 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 da. And then asked him a couple questions and shoot him to the floor. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And I told him, I said, "Shame on you guys." I said, "You got people coming up here. You shut 5 or 6 people off in the middle of their speech or questions and stuff." And I said, "You shut them off." I said, "These people have not been up here before. They're concerned with what's going on." I said, "They're not up here raising crap with you guys like some of us do all the time, but still, you still need to hear them out." And I said, the previous council allowed them to speak on out as long as they wasn't repeating themselves. And I said, I think you guys need to look back and do that the same way.
And here's what I don't get. Okay.
And I told Jerry, I said, "Jerry, you even told me today." I didn't say today. I said, "Jerry, you even told me you wouldn't shut people up, but you're doing it. You're allowing it to happen."
What
Jerry.
Did he say?
He didn't say a fucking word.
So here's what I don't get. Here's what I do not get. 9 people council. All right, 9 council members. 5 of them are Democrats. 6 of them are Democrats. 3 of them are Republicans. That means technically there's Democrat control. Jeff Robinson is a Democrat. He's been the president for the last 3 years, and it was his policy to not just shut people up at 3 minutes just cause. He would let them go if it was...
Let them finish their thought.
Yeah, right.
He would let them finish out.
Here's the question. It's not like these people are all enemies of Jeff. Jeff is friendly with these people. They look to Jeff for some counsel, from guidance.
They all do. Yes.
I don't understand why they're getting so bent on this deal. Why? What's the deal?
I don't know. It's just, I don't know if it's somebody that used to be on the council before pushing it or what. But the 3 minutes needs to go away. They broke it tonight, so as it doesn't matter. They allowed people to come up and talk after the meeting should have been adjourned. He went on for about 5 minutes. So
it was longer than that. That guy talked longer than that.
Yeah. And then they allowed somebody else back up there after she had already spoke.
Yeah.
Saying the same thing over and over again and repeating herself, and they didn't adjourn her. So they've set precedent now. So they're pretty much, their hands are tied at this point.
Well, look.
And as well as I know, we get 3 minutes. I discussed 4 things. I hit the high points on all 4 things. First one was the 3-minute rule. I said, shame on every one of you for allowing that to happen. You're allowing 4 or 5 or 6 people to get shut off, and that's not right. These people vote, and you guys need to pay attention to that. Nobody said nothing about it. I said the second thing was the solar field. I said I brought it up again this month. I brought it up last month. You guys are going to have to do something with it because the county ordinance does not pertain to the city of Muncie. And then I went on about the Ask Me. I had it all wrote down on my hand, so I remember what to say. I told them about the Ask Me contract is still not been ratified, and that they need to cut spending, whatever it takes to get these people back in and get their contract where it's supposed to be. I said, whatever it takes to cut the mayor off because he's not allowing it to get ratified.
Yeah.
And then I talked about State Road 32 because that was one of the big concerns tonight about the roundabouts. I've known about that for what, a year and a half now.
Well,
Chris?
yeah, we're gonna come back to that. I want to say a couple things here real quick. Number one, Jackie says control issue, shutting people down. I couldn't agree more. I also want to say thank you, Mrs. Fisher. You sent me a couple messages today. I greatly appreciated those messages. I started to call you back a couple times, and the day just got away from me. I will give you a call tomorrow. I'm interested in your input of what you were saying. I have not had a chance to watch what you sent me a couple times, those things, but I am going to get a watch. I'll watch some of those this evening, and I'll watch them tomorrow as I'm doing stuff, and we'll talk about those other meetings and things later on in this week. But thank you for that first and foremost. Second of all,
Dan could even use edit money on that, Charlize.
Well, what I want to say now is,
if you want to start,
Charlize said that what?
If you want to start from the beginning, we can start.
No. I mean, I'm just saying. Charlize just said that there is a discrepancy in the ARP money. Now, again, I've been out for a minute, so please tell me what you're talking about. And because unless I'm slipping my brain, I don't know what you're talking about. Is there documentation that shows this? Is this something that you have? If you do, can you please send it to me? I would be interested in. Is this something that was talked about in the meeting?
No, it wasn't talked about in the meeting.
Okay, so it wasn't talked about in the meeting. So yeah, I'll have to get with you, Charlize, because I'm interested in finding out just what you're talking about.
That's
timing
fine.
issues.
We know.
Of course, had timing issues, as always.
We ain't missed nothing yet. Timing issues.
Yeah, right. So that then takes care of that. Then we going backwards. We had the 18-23 resolution, which is the tax abatement for that one place that they just keep letting stay on the table. And then.
That's the thing. Rose Selvey keeps bringing it up. She said that guy promised me that he would be here tonight, and he didn't show up.
And then he wasn't.
Joe Jackson. So maybe it's time to just let it die on the table.
Yeah, right. Or take it off the table and kill it. Yeah.
Because she keeps pushing it forward.
Yeah, I don't understand. It's so weird. Okay, next we then go to the ordinance that Dale Basham put forward.
Wait a minute.
Yeah.
We skipped a bunch.
What are you talking about?
We skipped all the nominations.
No, we're going backwards, bro.
Oh, okay.
You started with public concerns, so we're going backwards.
All right, we can do that.
So ordinance 1-24, which was an ordinance for $250,000 appropriations to the fire department. And I didn't like how they did this.
It was just introduction, and
it was an introduction.
And when they've settled other lawsuits in the past, they've always went to the council and told them what was going on.
Yeah.
Special session. They would call special session, an executive meeting or whatever.
Well, it wouldn't be a special session. It would be an executive meeting.
And explain to the council members what was going on.
What it is.
Well, that way they don't have to discuss it in public because they can't.
Well, I want to say this for a moment. Okay. I can respect what Jerry said tonight on this.
Yes.
Because
You know,
Jerry said something that I really respect. He said, I will not vote on something that I don't know anything about. And we don't know anything about this.
right.
So I like that he said that. I can respect that. And they were like, well, we can call another meeting. We can talk about it. And then now I like Dan Burford. I don't have a problem with Dan Burford. Dan Burford is the fire chief.
I think Dan done a really good job tonight. He
Yeah.
probably explained, yes, Joe, it is a lawsuit.
It is a lawsuit. And if you guys watched last night, I talked about what it is, and I'm getting ready to talk about it again. I just want to say this. I respect Dan Burford, but I have to say, just because he says that there's non-disclosures and whatnot, doesn't necessarily mean I believe that. Like, I want to find out that there's none, because if there aren't, then I think it does need to come forward, and it's okay to talk about it. Listen, folks, in the world of life, shit happens. And I'm a perfect example of that today. We took my grandmother in to the doctor for a routine surgery that should have been wham, bam, thank you, ma'am. And they ended up breaking her femur, which is a pretty major ordeal. And then it was an ordeal. I mean, it's not good having 83-year-olds under anesthesia for all that time and all that stuff. So, you know, any number of things could have happened. Now,
back 40 some years ago, your dad laid down with your mom and oops, something happened.
Yeah, look, that's just what happens. What is that? Yeah, right. So the thing is, but here's the deal. In life, just things happen. Specifically, when you're talking about police and fire and paramedics and things like that, people aren't calling police on their best days. People aren't calling the paramedics on their best day. I'm going to tell you what this is. I told you what this was last night. This is a lawsuit where somebody on the EMS, the Muncie Fire Department EMS program, they were dealing with a patient. From what I've heard from sources related to this, that it dealt with an intubation where they were intubating the patient and something went wrong. And it seems like, from what I'm being told, the person died and that they reached a settlement with the family. Now, $250,000 isn't a lot. So, I won't be able to get it, Charlize, until after we go live, but I will look at it as soon as we're off here. So I won't be able to look at it. But here's the thing. Some people are like, man, we should go after them. No, the bottom line is, this is why insurance exists. This is why things like this happen. And the bottom line is, my thoughts and prayers are with whoever this affected. There's a family out there that's hurting and you're dealing with something, and that's horrible. I hope, listen, $250,000 or bring my dad back. I'll take my dad in a minute. I'd take him for a day. $250,000 ain't going to do anything for that. But at the end of the day, is $250,000 help these people with a funeral that they weren't planning? Does $250,000 help with a headstone? Does $250,000 help pay bills for this person that maybe died and are leaving? I don't know the age, the anything, no contributing factors. I just know that it's a thing that we should not blame EMS and the fire department. Things happen, and that's why I just want to contrast this with what's going on in Henry County. What's going on in Henry County is not okay.
No. What's
going on in Henry County is a horrible situation. Okay. What's going on up here was a horrible situation, but things happen, and we all just need to be able to understand that. So my thoughts and prayers go out with everybody. And look, my thoughts and prayers go out with the EMS people that were involved with this, because that's on their hands. They think about this. I've been in positions like that, and you think about that. And so it sucks for everybody involved, and we move forward. And it is Yoko, what it is.
It was $250,000, Yoko.
It was $250,000. Yeah. There might have been more.
And the insurance may pay more. The
Yeah.
insurance will pay more. That's the city's part.
Yeah.
And here's the thing. Burford explained it pretty clear. It's a lawsuit, something that happened last year. We got to settle it. We've come to terms. And that's basically all I could say. And we know, as well as you know, in them non-disclosures and stuff like that, I know the city of Muncie's allowed to speak about it from personal and past experience. They're allowed to talk about it, but usually the people getting the settlement are the ones not allowed to talk about it.
Yeah.
So
the other thing I want to make mention, because a counselor said this, and I just want to be truthful here. Someone said, is this related to HIPAA? At which point the fire chief said, I can't say that. I just want to say for the record, HIPAA deals with medical records and the medical goings on of a live human. When a death is in place, HIPAA is no longer a factor.
That's wrong,
So
Chris.
when you, what?
That's wrong.
That is not right. That is not wrong.
That is wrong.
Why?
Just went through it in Kentucky. I don't know how it is in Indiana, but Kentucky and Indiana, same way.
Reference to what? Reference to what are you talking about?
My father-in-law passed away in October.
No, I understand that, but how are you saying that it's in place?
We could not get the medical records of my wife's father until the co-executors of the estate signed a paper releasing them to us.
Medical records of the, okay, but what you're told, what were medical records going for? How, on what?
On his hospice and everything going back for the last 2 years. We could not get any medical records until we would either have had to have got a court order or both co-executors of the estate had to sign.
I don't know. I think we need a ruling on this.
I'm telling you, I just went through it.
I can't look it up. I wish this is why I need a computer in front of me.
And I don't know if it's something different in Kentucky than it is in Indiana, but I know 28 years ago, since I was next of kin, I was allowed to get my wife's medical records because she passed away 6 days after giving birth to my daughter, but nobody else could get them unless I gave them permission. That's the
maybe
truth.
Kate. Maybe Kate can. I don't know if Kate is. I'm sure Kate's there. I can't see her like I normally do. Maybe Kate could look that up. Like if Kate was just there and she was looking up, does HIPAA? Let's see. What would Kate look up? Does HIPAA go on after death?
I can find that out for you.
Oh, hey, look, Kate's there. That's amazing.
Look, there's Kate.
Yeah, I will go and I will look that up for you.
That would be fantastic.
I'm telling you personal experience, and that's just happened to me in the last 2 months.
All right, now we got to make a bet.
That even though she is his heir, she could not go get them papers without her brother and stepsister signing, because they're executors of the estate together. They had to sign the paperwork.
I don't know what the estate would have anything to do with medical records.
How old are you, Audie?
I am 53 years old.
How old were you when he died?
When my father-in-law died? My father-in-law died in October.
So you were still 53?
52, 53.
52? Well, you'd be 103 when HIPAA would come off of that. It applies for 50 years after death.
Really?
Yes, sir.
Really?
Yep.
50 years after death. And what does it apply to? All records?
Yeah. Now here's the thing.
Wait, just 1 second. Pause. I'm pointing at someone right directly. And I don't know if you're watching because I'm not at home, but I'm pointing at you. You just made me look stupid, and you got hell to pay.
Well, it wasn't
all
me.
right, go on. Not you. No. I'm pointing at someone way back there in the back.
Following orders. So
no, not okay. It's not any of you on the screen. I'm pointing to someone directly. No, not you guys. So I will say I was wrong. I was wrong last night when I said that, and I'll tell you why I said that. I was talking to somebody who, I'll put it to you this way, who should know, who absolutely should know what the right answer would have been here, and they led me astray. So
Now, Chris, here's another thing. If
hold
you do
on,
not have a will-
pause. It's 2024. We got that out of the way. That's my one wrong thing for the year. Okay.
You was misled.
Yeah, right.
Here's another thing.
Go on, Audie.
If you do not have a will and you pass away,
Yeah.
technically your spouse cannot
Yeah.
get your medical records
Yeah.
because of this ruling, because of this law. They have to go to a judge and get the judge to sign a paper giving you rights to the medical records.
It would technically be the person that would be either a living parent or your child.
Nope. I had the same thing when my mom died. I had to get permission from my father-in-law to sign off on getting my mom's medical records.
Dude, now I don't know anything about that because listen, when my father passed away, because I can tell you, I don't know anything about else we just talked about. But when my father passed away, I walked in and got all of that stuff, and he did not. It was before we set up the any of that, and I just walked in and got his records. There was nothing else going on.
There was a nurse at medical records that I was trying to, talk to and find out what I needed to do, and she had told me down in Kentucky that she was married to this guy. And he died. She worked in the medical records department. She could not legally obtain her husband's medical records because there was not a will leaving her as an executor of the estate, and that she had to get the judge to sign off stating she could have the medical records.
Charlie says, bet the loser has to buy Shirley's estate dinner.
So I'm just telling you.
No, you were right.
It's getting a lot tougher. It's getting a lot tougher to get people's medical records. And I know 28 years ago, I went in and had to get my wife's medical records, and I got them like a day and a half, 2 days after she passed away. And, they didn't give me no balk then, but now the HIPAA laws and shit, back 28 years ago, it wasn't as nearly as rough as it is now, but times are changing.
I've just completely tuned out. I'm thinking about all the yelling I'm going to do with this person. No. All right. So, okay, getting back to this thing. At the bottom, the bottom line is I'm not mad. I mean, I don't like that the Muncie's got to pay this out, but it is what it is, and that's why that stuff's there. All right, so that's that.
But secret, I got a secret. No.
Yeah.
The fire department needs to go to the council and say, this is what this is for. Have an executive committee or executive meeting and tell them, this is XYZ, and this is what happened, and this is because they are allowed to permit that, to give that information to the council, because the council is one financially responsible for paying it.
Right.
So,
interesting.
Yeah.
Okay, so that was ordinance 124, and that takes care of that jumps ahead all the way ahead to the very beginning of the meeting, which was the public hearing. So that takes care of that. That now then brings us to the appointments. So your thoughts on the appointments tonight?
Well, if we can go through them, there was an appointment to the police merit committee.
Yeah.
And I had somebody call me about 30 minutes before the council meeting and say, hey, so-and-so's son is on the police department. He's on leave right now. And next week, they are going to bring him in front of the merit committee. And they was wondering if there was a conflict of interest or anything like that. Because the person that she was nominating was probably going to end up getting the position. And so I left my house a little early. I went up and talked to Dan. Dan said, no, that he's an adult son and he does not rely on her income to survive. So there's not a conflict of interest. So,
And it's honestly even a little bit further removed from that, honestly.
Because it's an ex-stepson.
Yeah.
And so on and so forth. And so, that was brought up. I told the person I would check into it. There was another one that was Dan. No, not Dan. Andrew Dale was appointed back to the MRC board. About 3 or 4 years ago, we had problems. Andrew Dale had resigned from that position because they said he couldn't be on the police merit committee or the fire merit board and the
MRC. At the same time.
So he just resigned before they ever got clarification on it. So he resigned the MRC. So now he's back on the MRC and on the fire merit committee. And, you know, until they can prove that he can't be on both of them, then, you know, kudos to him.
Listen, I'm going to tell you this just straight across the board. Politically speaking, nationally politically speaking, Andrew and I are probably as far apart as it can get. I think Andrew is pretty far. I think he's pretty liberal. But as far as local government goes, and as far as local government goes, and as far as specifically having somebody on the MRC that will hold Ridenour's feet to the fire and won't just bow down and kiss his ass and do what he wants, I'm all for it.
Yes, Andrew Dale do that too. He'll put it to him every time.
The
reason they wanted him off last time. That's the reason Wagley wanted him off last time.
Yep, absolutely. This is the main reason I wanted to come to tonight's meeting, and it was the main reason I was upset that I could. I mean, look, I wouldn't have changed where I was. I was helping my family, and that's what I've been doing. But I listened to the meeting for this very appointment, and I was so happy to hear. Not only did Andrew Dale and who else
on the MRC? I don't know if they had another one on the MRC.
Yeah, there were two appointments.
Yes. One of them was nominated was Isaac Miller. The other one was the other Republican.
Isaac Miller, Lorraine Tomlin, Andrew Dale, and who else? Come on, people in here that can help us. Zane Bishop.
Zane Bishop.
Now,
Bishop and Dale got it.
Now, you know Zane Bishop, right?
Yes.
He's the young guy that worked in community development that was going to the Board of Works back there a while and really sticking it to the Board of Works.
IMCA.
Let me tell you, Andrew, Dan will have some splaining to do coming up real soon.
And everybody in that meeting tonight was really upset. They would go to the podium and talk about the roundabouts and stuff that they're putting on Jackson Street and stuff.
Yeah.
And said, you know, Dan, he called the mayor, and the mayor said he didn't know nothing about it, couldn't release it, couldn't give out the information. Bullshit. It's just Dan's cop outlet. Secret. I got a secret.
Yeah.
Look here. No. Do me a big line. That's probably not good for my diabetes, is it?
Probably not. Listen, what is it? Is it Fig Newtons?
Support your local Girl Scouts.
Oh my God.
Support your local Girl Scouts. Oh,
yeah, that's true.
I hope we don't get a punch for that, right?
No, we'll be all right. Yeah, no, listen to this. I gotta say this.
Yes, Charlize, it is. And so
what?
And so Charlize says Andrew Dale on the MRC is a great thing. So Zane Bishop. Yeah,
Zane Bishop and Andrew Dale. I listen, I can almost sleep a little bit.
For the win.
Yeah. I can almost sleep a little bit and relax when it comes to MRC because the two people who come off, Jackie and everybody else out there in lovely, wonderful land where good things can happen at the MRC. The most pretentious beard in all of America, Isaac Miller, and Lorraine Tomlinson.
Yes. And I think Lorraine got up and spoke at the
She did.
public concerns and stuff.
She did. And I'm just going to tell you what my issue is with Lorraine. I don't particularly have an issue specifically with Lorraine. Lorraine gets she's kind of guilt by association.
Yes.
Lorraine Tomlinson is the sister of Gretchen Cheeseman and the friend of Roe and the friend of Steve Selvey and the friend of all those people. And so it's like, all right,
Stephen Brand tonight.
What?
She sat right next to Steve Brand tonight, Stephen or whatever his name is.
Yeah, she's a big supporter of his. Yep. Look, this year's political season is going to make some very strange bedfellows, I can tell you. Yep. It's going to be a weird ordeal. Yep. So that happened. The only other thing that I had an issue with, Stephen Craig got appointed to the Fire Merit Commission. That was a good deal.
Here's the other thing.
Yeah.
They had 3 people.
Yeah.
For police merit committee.
Fire merit.
Police.
Oh, please. Okay.
Police. Steve Craig was nominated.
Roger Overby.
And Wayne Scaife.
Yeah.
They had to vote 3 or 4 or 5 times to finally get a vote to go through.
Yeah. What was going on with that weirdness?
It kept tying 4-4-1.
Yeah, and
they have to have 5 members. They have to have 5 people to get on to the board. So just like the Speaker of the House and stuff. So they had to keep voting until somebody decided to change their vote.
I think they could have done that a different way. I talked to Dan
before the meeting.
Who?
I talked to Dan, the city attorney, before.
How would you talk to him about something that occurred before it occurred?
Because I knew what was going to happen.
Okay.
Because I thought there was going to be 4 or 5 people put in for it, and you got to have 5 members to vote it on. I thought there was going to be 4 or 5 people running for it. That's what I was told.
So everybody would have like 1 vote apiece.
1 or 2 votes and not get
and nothing. You never have it. Because I guess I wrongly assumed. I assumed that the first time they vote, it would be 4-4-1. The person who got 1 would fall off.
Nope. They stay on there until they change it.
Yeah, Yoko. What?
I asked Dan that. I said, so they don't take the top 3 or 4 and then re-vote it? He said, nope. Because I thought there was going to be 5.
Right. Okay.
Okay, Charlize, so we can talk about that here in a few minutes.
Yeah. So, because then we got to move on to Delaware County. So, so that basically is there. The only other issue that I had in board appointments was the only other issue that I had with that was the
Finance Committee.
Well, yeah, and because I heard that Nora Powell was going to be the president, and I didn't hear them say at first that everybody else. So I text Audie and I said, "Oh, you got to get up and gripe about that because that's no good." And Audie texted and said, "Nope, it's all 9 people." And I went back and listened, and I was like, "Okay, I'm good to go." So I had no issue.
Audie's right again.
I will tell you, I don't like Nora being the president, but.
Probably not. I don't.
It is what it is. So at least all 9 people are there. With all 9 people there, the president doesn't matter, truthfully. Right. So it is what it is.
As long as she does not go into these union hearing or these union negotiations by herself without other council members going.
Yeah, it'd be a problem.
That would be the problem. That's the only problem I would see.
So. The last thing on the city I want to talk about, I guess, before we go on to the Delaware County deal is the guy that got up in the public concerns. This takes us all the way back to the back. First of all, I got to say, dude, I heard this guy and I was like, oh my God, that's me. I've done exactly what this guy's done. I had such a flashback to Winchester. I've heard this thing in every area. Oh, look at this. Lydia Lou, I don't know why Facebook recommended you to me. I don't understand how Facebook works. I wanted to be friends with you. I added you but failed. Can you try adding me? Yes, right after these messages. Yeah, right.
Sponsored by
Yeah.
Mountain Dew.
Yeah.
And
Look,
Girl Scout cookies. Winston.
Look at this spam. What in the
9
world?
out of 10 doctors say Winstons are good for you. Fred Flintstone said
Fred Flintstone says Winstons are good. Yabba dabba doo. That's hilarious. Anyways, so I feel for that guy. Look, so I think you and I are going to kind of disagree in this a little bit.
Okay.
So he gets
Are we
up.
allowed to do that?
Yeah, isn't that weird? Yeah.
Oh, and we can still remain friends?
Isn't that weird?
Okay.
So he gets up and he's like, listen, I live in this neighborhood. We're hearing all these weird stories. Listen, when you hear something weird going on, you know, there's something strange, you know, what's the Ghostbuster song?
Something
in your neighborhood.
In your neighborhood.
Yeah. Who are you going to call? You don't pick up the phone and call the president. You pick up the phone and you call your city council. You pick up the phone and you call your mayor. You call your local government.
All respects, the council don't even know what the fuck's going on with
No,
this.
I understand that. You're not wrong.
Because
You're putting the cart before the horse. Hold on.
Okay.
You're right. You're right. And I'll give you time to speak on this. I just want to say, from this guy's point of view, he's sitting in his house. This guy don't go to meetings every month. He probably doesn't get on Facebook. He probably doesn't care about, he don't watch this show. He should, he would be more informed.
Yep.
But I'm going to reach out to him. He will in the future, but he's sitting there minding his own business, living his life. And he gets notified, hey, they're going to tear Billy Bob's house down to put in a four-way stop, a roundabout. And, Susie down the street, well, the splash pad's going in her front yard. And they're like, what is this? This is nuts. Who's doing this? So the first thing he does is he reaches out to his local government. And you know what he does? He gets a shit all bullshit type answer from the mayor. I can't tell you anything about this. I can't do anything with that. What?
Yep.
Dan is ridiculous. And let me tell you, everybody jumping to conclusions and thinking that this is just something Dan's doing. Let me tell you why. Because we've got 4 years of him doing things just like this. So the one time it's not him.
Secret. I got a secret.
Yeah. The one time it's the state. Give me a break with that. I don't care. It's still Dan's responsibility to know what's going on in his community.
And Chris, I should have, when I said the state was responsible for this, I should have said Dan knew about it. But I was running out of time and I was expecting him to tell me, time is up.
Yeah.
But here's the thing. Dan knew about it because Dan got $3.5 million.
Yes.
From the state.
Yes.
Over the roadway, 7.1 miles or whatever.
Yes. Now you're speaking.
And
yes.
like I told them at the council meeting tonight, they're going to put roundabouts at Madison and Maine, Jackson and Maine. That's the two that I know of. And they're going to turn the traffic. They're going to stop two-way traffic, 2 lanes of traffic.
There is no way in the world they're going to put a roundabout at Jackson and Maine.
They are.
That is the stupidest thing I've ever heard of.
they're going to put a roundabout there, and they're going to put, and I don't know what they're going to tear down. I don't know if they're going to tear down the fire station or the Mad Jacks or what to get it in there. But they're going to
tear down none of that. They're not tearing down any of that.
Well, they may tear down that little barber shop that's there now on the Main and Madison.
You remember that time that was a taxi place and that person was going to blow up your wife or whatever?
Yep.
And it was a big ordeal. It was hilarious. We watched it. It was funny.
National news and all that.
Blowing up people's wives. That's funny.
But
all right, go on. Anyways.
I've known about this for a year and a half.
Yeah,
and
me too.
Council members that got up there and said, well, I don't know anything about shit. Well, you know what? Probably because you ain't paid attention until November when you got elected.
You ought to have been asking everybody's favorite 10th counselor, because the 10th counselor knew about it.
The 10th counselor knows about a lot of shit that's not come out yet.
I knew about this. I knew about it. I knew about it. Here's the thing. I feel for this guy.
But
yes. Yeah. Charlie, Russell Irving. And here's the thing. He's not just some nobody. That's what I'm saying. Like, and the mayor treats him the way that he did. So the mayor treats Bilbrey this way. The mayor treats everybody this way. The mayor treats someone from Shedtown this way. The mayor treats somebody from up on, South Central this way. And he treats somebody from Industry this way. The mayor treats Russell Irving this way too.
Yep.
The mayor don't have no time for Russell Irving.
And Chris, I told the council, I said, you cut that man off. You cut that man off and then started asking him questions. You told him his 3 minutes was up, and he was really upset because he didn't get to hear it all the way out. They cut 4 or 5 or 6 people off like that.
That's ludicrous.
4 or 5 or 6 people like that they cut off.
Yeah.
But Charlize, here's the thing. Chris. You remember last year when they wanted to close Riggin Road and the bypass?
Yep.
People from turning off there. Guess what happened there? The
people got pissed off and they went out there
to the state and took care of it, and they left it open.
Yeah.
And if the people want to bitch and complain, if they get enough of them people in East Central Indiana Neighborhood Association there, they will bring enough people in. They will not put roundabouts in there. They will change the sidewalks, but they will not put roundabouts in there if they bitch and complain enough.
Well,
it will stop it.
I can tell you.
But they may already have a contract out too.
Well, yeah.
Because the people
and your
road knew about it before the contract went out for it.
Your thought is probably very true, but let me explain this to you. I still don't care whose responsibility this is. If you're telling me that the mayor of Muncie doesn't know, how is it that the mayor of Muncie's first words out of his mouth is, I didn't know anything about that?
Bullshit, but he took the $3.5 million and had the plans at the city hall and at the street department, knowing that they were going to have to clean the snow and shit off that road as soon as the state's done with it in 2026 or whatever it was.
Not a soul in the very active neighborhood knew any of this. And these people aren't slouches, man. These people aren't just living life for themselves. They're very involved.
And they've got a massive following on their neighborhood association.
They've got a massive following on the neighborhood association. They're, and I'm not saying that this is right and only people who've got money should get stuff done, but they've also got money to throw behind them.
But
you know what I mean?
Yes.
What?
But the thing about it is, it's been bid out. It's been on the state's website, but people don't understand. And until something happens in their neighborhood, they don't get involved with this.
Yeah, that's the hardest thing. I've been saying this, dude. I've been politically active for a long time, but since 2016, I've been saying until it affects your porch, you don't bitch. And what happens is someone finally I literally had someone tell me this. I literally had someone tell me, I was fighting that drug rehab situation in Winchester, and it wasn't the drug rehab. It was what was going on with it. It was the money that entailed,
Right.
and it was the fact that it wasn't helping out our people. Our citizens were not being helped out. And so that's what I was fighting. I was fighting a mayor who was trying to use that for a political stepping stone. That's what I was fighting. And 2 years later, somebody who's actually a very good friend of mine now went to a meeting because there was something going on in their neighborhood and they were going to put up an apartment there and they didn't want it. They walked up to me in that Winchester meeting and they said, listen, we need your help. We agree with everything you've been doing for the last 2 years. And when this first came up, we agreed with you, but it didn't affect us. So we didn't get involved.
And that happens all the time.
And they apologized. And you know what I said? Hey, no skin off my teeth. Welcome to the fight. How can I help you? I said, all I'm asking for you is to stay involved.
That's the same way with the people in Gaston that slowed down the solar farms or the solar farms and everything.
Yeah.
If it does not affect them, they don't get involved.
Yeah.
Well, folks, I'm here to tell you, it does affect you. Your taxes are paying for this bullshit.
Yes.
Straight up, it affects you. Every day when you go buy something at the grocery store, stop and get gas, you have money taken out of your tax check or your paychecks, it affects you. That's called taxation without representation. Because they're not telling you about it.
Yeah. Absolutely.
We're going to tax you, but we're not going to tell you what the fuck's going on.
So I'm going to do some more work into this. Audie's right. This stuff's been out and about for a while. I'm going to look at what's going on. I'm going to try to find out what the mayor knew, when the mayor knew it, and why the mayor's not telling anybody about it, and see what the hell's going on with this.
All you have to do is go back 6 months.
Yeah.
Time he signed the contract with the state to take over the 32 for $3.5 million.
Yeah.
Go back 6 months because they brought it to him and said, this is what we're going to do. We're going to finish this project. We're going to pave the road. And after that, we're going to give you $3.5 million to maintain it forever.
Yeah.
Forever.
Yeah.
They are taxing our tax checks.
Yeah.
I paid $33,000 into taxes last year. I get maybe $2,500 to $3,000.
Yeah, right.
That's what happens. Okay, let's go. One more thing, Chris, before I let you get off here. There was a lot
before you what?
Before I get off here, because you're going to start talking about the county and stuff.
No, you don't have to go.
And I got to go to the drugstore here shortly too. So,
is that a euphemism?
No, I got to go to CVS. They're open 24 hours. I got to pick up some medicine tonight.
Okay, good.
The Muncie Inn. A lot of people were complaining about the Muncie Inn tonight.
Yeah.
I used to own apartments. It would take me 3-4 months to get people out of these apartments, not paying rent. I don't care what kind of condition the houses was in. You could not get them out for 3 or 4 months. The city of Muncie has evicted these people in 10 days. They had till today to get the hell out of there. 10 days eviction notice. No, that don't work that way, folks. If those people would stay in there, then the city of Muncie has to go get a court order to evict them people. And then they'll have another 30 days to find them a place to live. And then they got to go back to court after the 30 days if they hadn't vacated the premises yet to get them out of there. So I don't know why these people are moving so fast.
Because you're asking people to fight City Hall, and not everybody has that in them. And I'm not knocking people. I'm saying like people are scared of that. Not everybody has a good experience with that. And that's why it's important for us to do it and for us to get people like this into the fold. Look, a guy got up and said, like, everyone talks about them like they're bad people and they're drug addicts. They're not. They're this. Look, let's be real. That guy was trying to be real, but I want to be real. Yeah, what he was saying is kind of true, but it's also kind of not. And I'm saying that in the fact that, look, over the years, there's been a lot of stuff going on there. There have been good things, there have been bad things, there have been shootings, there have been stabbings, there have been drugs, there's been overdoses, there's been sex crimes.
Yep.
What? Everything that's going on. Now, does that mean everybody there is bad? Absolutely not.
Absolutely not.
Does that mean everybody there is a junkie that won't work? No. There's a lot of good people there. I'm just saying because it's a hotel and not an apartment, the rules are different. And that's probably
But since it's a long term, since they have long term, they still have to follow the rules of renting an apartment. It's just that simple.
But the bottom line here is
It's
people are people, even if they're drug addicts, they're still people. You know what I mean?
Guess what? How many millions has Dan squandered away to his friends?
Yeah.
That he could have took edit money, 40 families at $2,000 a piece to get them new apartments. These new apartments that he's built that are sitting empty.
Yeah.
$2,000 each family. That's $80,000, Chris.
I know.
You could have used $80,000 in edit money to assist the homeless.
Put that up, Kate. Yeah, you're right.
To get these people new places to live.
Yeah.
But they're not doing that because it's not $650,000 to the jail downtown, the old jail downtown for condos.
Yeah.
Because it's not $137,000 for the place down here, the center of crisis.
Yeah, right. Derek Brennan said until this whole thing about the Muncie Inn came up, I couldn't believe that place was able to remain in business. And that's the truth, because they were doing those people wrong. There's a lot of, there's a lot of ins and outs to this thing.
And 4 years ago, they closed the upstairs. The upstairs has not been used for almost 4 years now.
I don't know if I believe that. I've seen people up there a lot.
They may walk up there, but the rooms have been shut down for almost 4 years.
All of them?
Yes, the ones upstairs. They shut the upstairs down. They had it closed at one time, and then they come back and let them open the bottom back up. Do you remember that, Charlize? The upstairs is still closed. Has been closed for 4 years now. They had this problem. What they're needing is the property. They need the property for a sewer line. They bought my dad's building, the old Ed's warehouse. My dad owned it. They bought it to run a double sewer line, separation for the sewer and stuff like that down through there. And they're going to run it right down Weiser Street. Last I knew, that was the thing.
Okay.
They've got a big substation in behind the Muncie Inn right now.
Yeah.
They just finished it up not too long ago. They come down, what is that, Vine Street there?
Yeah.
And tore all that up. And somehow they're going to attach something to do with the underpass and some of the stormwater from downtown to the river and go down through there with it. And it's going to be like a double 48 or a double 56-inch pipe that's supposed to go through there. And it's supposed to go right through where Ed's warehouse used to be.
Interesting.
You do have some bad apples. They said that. There is going to be some bad apples. But you got some people. I had somebody contact me the other night. There's sweets. I had some people contact me the other night that there's a couple that moved up from Tennessee that just couldn't afford to put a damage deposit and all that stuff down, and wondered what I could do to help them. And I said, there's not a whole lot I can do.
Yeah. All right. Yeah.
Turn the lights on to scare the cockroaches. Yep. So
yeah, right. Well, now is where my text comes into play. Okay. Give me 1 second before you leave, Audie.
Okay.
Stay right here. I'm going to get off here and see if I can find this text, and I'll be right back.
Okay.
Okay.
Yes, Derek, the pump station went in a couple years ago. They just finished it up, I think, over the summer because they was having issues with the festival and stuff like that, Washington Street Festival, where they was doing the Washington Street area and stuff. It's just a bad deal. Maybe Dan can open his Airbnb up to one of the families and let them stay there until they can find some place to live. I mean, he rents it out, so why couldn't he help homeless people out? Because these people are going to be homeless in the middle of February. Guess what? The electric company cannot turn your power off in February. The gas company cannot turn your gas off in February because they're afraid people's going to freeze to death.
Yeah.
So
I read that, Charlize.
How they can do this to these people that live down in this hotel because they can't afford to get something else, you know. And folks, face it, if you don't have a decent job making 20 or 25 bucks an hour, it's hard. It's hard to make it out there. And even at $20 or $25 an hour, you're still not going to make it because the taxes on houses are so high that these landlords are having to raise the prices of the housing. There's no houses in Muncie for low income. They're building all these low income houses, but they're shipping all these people in from other counties to Muncie to live in these houses because they get free money off these people.
Yeah.
It's all government subsidized housing.
Well,
Dan sure would kick a person out in the cold because he's done it to 43 families.
yeah. Yeah. That's what people just kept saying. I cannot believe that this is happening. I cannot believe that this kind of transparency or lack of transparency is happening in Muncie. And I'm like, are you for real?
Just
Right
remember,
now, where's the mayor?
only about 300 votes let him get in there. So people,
Yeah, right.
Your families out, and if you live in the city of Muncie, you got to get people out to vote. It's just that simple, folks. We've got to change this shit.
I'm seeing on like the City of Muncie page, people commenting on this Muncie Inn situation, asking why the mayor isn't putting money in it. And his administration is saying, well, he does put edit money into things like the warming station.
Oh.
There ain't no warming station.
I don't know what they're talking about. People cannot move into a warming station.
Shireen Wagley and
the Dan addicts are still playing cover for a guy who threw 40 families out in the cold.
He could put $80,000, give them people $2,000 a piece to get them housing. At that point, they'll be on their own. A one-time deal, use edit money to do it, whatever it takes to get these people relocated.
Yeah.
That guy that spoke out of turn after the meeting should have been over and hadn't signed up. He was a preacher or whatever. He said 4 or 5 of the families have been placed through Muncie Housing Authority. That ain't 43. That ain't 43 families.
Yeah. Right.
It's a bad deal. It's a bad deal.
Yeah.
I've been there.
Yeah.
It's rough.
It's rough.
It's rough. And if you can't afford $900, and like he said, like somebody was talking, $900. What's his name? What's that young boy's name?
Seth
was saying, $900 is the average for rent in Muncie. 9 times 12. What is that, folks? 9 times 12, you're looking at a little over $11,000, I think is what he said.
Yeah.
And if you make $20 an hour at 2,000 hours a year, do the math.
Yeah.
That's $40,000.
Yeah.
And you're spending $11,000 before any taxes are paid or any electric bills or gas bills, water bill, sewer bill. Before anything's paid, you're spending $11,000 just on rent.
Well, and then you also have to think that most places, when you rent an apartment, what do they want right off the bat?
First and last.
First
damage deposit.
And a damage deposit.
Yep.
So,
and if I've had rentals, and I would require damage deposit be the first month's rent plus a first month's rent. So, if I was getting $800 a month, it's $1,600. That's just to get in the house. That's not the utility bills, the deposit on the electric bill, the gas bill, the water bill.
Pay for the moving trucks or whatever.
Moving trucks to get the shit to the house. It's $2,500 to move.
Do you remember what we got paid to move? By the
$7,000.
Military paid us $7,000 to move.
Across the world?
No. From like Indiana down to Tennessee.
Mm-hmm.
And that was moving truck, first and last, motel if you need to be in one, food, gas. I mean,
And
that's
here's
what
the
it costs to move.
And
Yeah.
here's the thing. Some of them people that live in them houses or in that hotel are felons.
Yeah.
And you cannot get public assistance if you're a felon.
Yeah.
You know, back 20 years ago, maybe they screwed up and done something wrong and they got a felony.
Yeah.
So now
Let me tell you what they can do, though. They can vote,
they can vote.
and they need to vote.
How dare,
How
these-
dare those people? Do they
Do you
not
remember
remember how the Dan McLean concert improved their quality of life?
Right. That's $40-some thousand we could have used on this place up here. They could take $80,000 and get the electrical system up and running on that place to where then people can stay there. That is a crisis. That is one of the crises. That is a rainy day fund event.
Listen, Dan is a rainy day event.
Yes.
Dan is a rainy day event.
Yeah, they did. I had rentals that was on Section 8, guaranteed money, all except for a little bit of nothing.
Yeah.
And I had a girl living in there. She had a dog. She went into Muncie. These were out by Selma. She had a dog that went into Muncie. She would leave the dog there for 2 weeks at a time. Just open a big old bag of dog food. And I just painted new carpet, everything in this place. She just ripped the bag of dog food open and let him drink out of the toilet. And he would shit and piss everywhere through my brand new carpet and stuff. And then she allowed her 3-year-old son to piss in my vents instead of going to the bathroom. He would piss in my vents for the heat runs. Needless to say, I sued her. Guess what? I still ain't got a damn dime out of her.
You can't squeeze. Guess what? You cannot squeeze blood from a turnip.
And guess what? She's always on them sites begging for help. I need help. I need help. I'll never see a penny. That was 25 years ago.
Haughty. Ah, good.
All right, Chris.
All right, you out here?
You got some stuff to talk about, and I got some errands to run. You got
Yes.
to talk about and I'm gonna turn you on.
What?
No. Let me rephrase that. I'm gonna put you on my phone. I'm not gonna turn you on. I'm gonna turn YouTube on. I'm gonna turn YouTube. I'm gonna place YouTube on my phone and watch you on my truck.
All right, that sounds
I'm
good.
gonna turn you on.
Yeah. We're already there.
Folks, if you guys have any questions, feel free to call me. My phone number is still the same. I've not disappeared like Andrew Pop. I'm still going to the council meetings. I'm still raising hell. I'll throw it out there. I don't care. You know me. I don't give a shit. Just like I was told tonight, maybe you need to give these new council members a few months, take a couple months off. No.
The hell was that?
Huh?
The hell was that?
That's what I said.
Business is going on now.
I said, no fucking way, buddy. No
Yeah.
way. And I'll tell you later who it was. And you'll get a good kick out of it.
I'll call you after I get off here.
All right. We'll talk to you folks. If you need me, call me 744-0013. Text me, hit me up on Facebook, whatever it takes. Get a hold of Chris to pass a message to me. I'll try to help you if I can.
Yeah.
Love you
All
all.
right.
Good night.
Yeah, thank you, Audie. All right, ladies and gentlemen,
Let me see how
it's still, there he is. He's still Audie. He's still Audie. I can still see him.
No, you can't.
Yeah, I can see your box up there.
I didn't.
You got to pull him down. There you go. There he goes. All right, ladies and gentlemen, that was Audie. And now, before we wrap up, like I feel like I am the night of the living dead. I am exhausted. Let me tell you what we got to talk to you about. Delaware County. So, besides this Muncie City Council meeting tonight, the Muncie City Redevelopment Commission had a special meeting today. I will watch that meeting sometime between tonight and tomorrow, and we will talk about it coming up this week. The Delaware County Commissioners met in a county commissioners meeting the first Monday of the month, and apparently some wild goings on occurred there. We'll talk about that. However, what we need to talk about and what people are probably most interested in. And I'll talk about this more in the future. Talk about this more tomorrow. We'll need to be talking about this all the way up until Tuesday, May 7th, 2024. That's election day. There was a Delaware County Council and Commissioners joint executive meeting today. What does that mouthful of words mean? Well, ladies and gentlemen, it means all three of your Delaware County commissioners, along with their attorney, John Brook, and the commissioners are Cowboy Kids, Shannon Henry, James King, their sleepy sister, Sherry Regan, along with 9 council members. All 9 council members were there. The council members are, of course, Eugene Whitehead, Bill Hughes, Jessica Piper, Matt Kantz, Jim Mokel, Dan Flanagan, and Ryan Webb. All 7 of those are council members or are Republicans. They all met with their attorney, Ben Freeman, and also Brad Bookout was there. The meeting started off as a bang. You could cut the tension with a knife. James King started the meeting off saying, "I don't want to be here. I don't even want to be here. I don't even want to be here." Ladies and gentlemen, I can't tell you how out of my ever-loving mind that makes me. Did someone miss the opportunity to tell that fool to resign? Leave your key on the desk and don't let the door hit you where the good Lord split you? Don't file for re-election? He walked into a meeting that was called because of his own doing. He walked in and he said, "I don't want to be here today. I don't want to be here. I don't want my words to end up on YouTube. I don't want what I say to be talked about on podcasts. I don't want to be on some political commentary. I don't want to be on YouTube. I don't want to be on TikTok." Then why are you not resigning? Why are you still running for re-election? Let me try to wrap my mind around this. Why is this man going to ask you for the next 4 months for your votes? Let me explain this to you. He does not want your vote. He doesn't want your vote. He doesn't want to be there. He doesn't want to do the work. He does not want this. I don't know what else I can say. Okay, now let's go on to it. You've got Jessica Piper, who always cautions the council to stay in their lane. Well, why can't she use that same phrasing, "stay in your lane," to the commissioners? John Brook apparently led today's meeting. Ben Freeman couldn't hold his own, wouldn't hold his own. He's afraid of John Brook. I don't get what the deal is. I don't know. I'm only hearing bits and pieces of what went on because it was an executive meeting. I should hear more over the next couple days. I've just got to say, we don't have a recording of this man saying this, but you can take it to the bank. He's saying the things that I'm telling you he's saying. I don't want to be here. I don't want to do this. I don't want to be a part of this. He was mad that he needed to be there. Does that sound like somebody you can vote for re-election? It certainly does not. It certainly does not. Do you think he said, I don't want to be here when he was in Vegas? When the county was footing his bill through roundabout ways and channels to Vegas? You think he said, I don't want to be here today? I just don't get it. So I need you guys to keep that in your mind. We have a lot to talk about with this. What was the discussion on the solar stuff? Nothing really. The council says they don't understand what the commissioners did. The commissioner says we have a right to do it. The council says we don't think you do. The commissioners say, I don't want to be here today. They didn't get into much discussion. Although we've got a couple people on the council, we've got a couple council members who seem just overly involved with wanting to only make the commissioners happy. Eugene Whitehead and Dan Flanagan, they don't want to be a county of no. We don't want to be a county of no. We want to be a county of yes. We want to say yes, yes. Yes, yes to all things. Yes to dirty, corrupt economic development agreements. Yes to drugs. Yes to, everything, folks. We gotta send King to the private sector. That's where he wants to be. Things you say when you realize you screwed up. James King. Yes. Yes. Okay. The last thing that I want to tell you all is basically we're waiting until the next official council meeting. Today's the 5th. The council meeting should be, I don't know if it's the 3rd or the 4th Tuesday of the month. I think it's the 3rd. But we'll figure it out and we'll keep you guys posted. And I'm going to keep digging into what we're hearing from this meeting. But it doesn't sound like it was a good, productive meeting. It sounded like everyone except a few people was on high alert trying to tell King that we didn't mean any harm by this. I know nothing. So, we'll have more on this tomorrow. There's a lot to talk about. We'll have more on all of this coming up. We'll have more on the King and the boys trips to Vegas, trips to Italy, possibly trips to Paris. We'll let you know about all of this. And obviously keep you posted on anything else that's going on. Today is Monday evening. That means tomorrow's Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, and then Friday until noon. You've got 3.5 days for the filing period, folks. And it's already in full swing. Bill Hughes, I'm hearing from what I'm hearing, Bill Hughes didn't have a lot to say. And instead, he sat kind of in a perturbed disgust. And the people who I'm hearing this from said it was almost as if he didn't say anything because he didn't want to cause a fight, but he's already apparently got his mind in the general vicinity of where he wants to be. And it doesn't seem good. So that's where we are. All right, folks, I'm going to roll out of here. I am having a hard time keeping my eyes open. It has been a very long day, and I have to do it all again tomorrow. I've got a lot of work to catch up on. I'll keep you guys posted. We have a big show tomorrow evening that will be back at the studio. And I will keep you guys posted. Take care of yourselves. God bless each and every one of you. And we will see you right back here tomorrow at 9 p.m. Eastern. Thank you all very much for absolutely everything. Please share the show with everyone you know. And until tomorrow, I will leave you by saying goodbye.